Aglorev Magazine Live is brought to you by
Leilani's Energy Exchange. Express yourself without saying a word.
And
Aglorev Entertainment. Mind, body, soul, energy healing.
Hey lady, welcome back to Aglorev Magazine Live, your reliable source for assistance with navigating the 3D. Trump is at it again, strategically working on the East Wing during the shutdown, so no one can witness. Privately funded military, and using the government to attack his personal nemesis. But I'll redirect your focus to what you can control. Some astrological guidance to give you something to look forward to. Do you have a celebrity crush or fancy an influencer and actually want to shoot your shot IRL? Well, I've got your advice. Did you hear about the Louvre heist? Did it make you laugh in any way? Well, a German company is counting on that. Trump continues to attack all who stand against him. The Golden Bachelor continues to play the field. Dancing with the Stars gets sentimental. The Amazing Race completes another leg. Survivor emerges and then splits. And Love is Blind releases its third installment of episodes. Still no wedding shit, but so many red flags. Another fun film recommendation, and then I'm going to touch you in places that you haven't used in a while. Your heart and your funny bone, what were you thinking? Neptune entered Pisces back in April of 2011. She left earlier this year in March of 2025 and finally entered Aries. However, she went retrograde on July 4th and is dipping back into Pisces for one final time so that she can complete a long mystical journey in her home waters. Between October 23rd to January 26th of 2026, Neptune is the planet that governs our subconscious minds, all the cycles of our collective consciousness. It also is our artistic expression, our connection to spirituality and religion, our dreams. And Neptune's home is Pisces, where she embodies her most authentic expression. Neptune is like a pair of rose-coloured glasses. When she's direct, she makes us dream big, dream our wildest dreams, chase and pursue them. She represents inspiration and boundless opportunity. But when she's retrograde, the glasses come off, and then it's time to get serious. Look at the truth and reality around you. Fix it. Salvage it. Neptune's transits can feel confusing and overwhelming. And often, when Neptune's retrograde, or forming a square in opposition to something, many of us feel a brain fog, tired and exhausted, because the energies are confusing. However, this specific Neptune retrograde, returning home to Pisces, is going to feel like a period of unraveling emotions, all fading away. Veils are going to thin, and truths are going to surface. After months of charging forward in fiery Aries territory, Neptune's retrograde return back to Pisces is going to feel like a turning of the tides, where we're reflecting back on our inner ocean. Not everything must be understood through action and decision. Pisces reminds us that some moments in life are just meant to be felt. We don't have to act on them. We just need to process. As Neptune retraces her final steps in Pisces over the next couple of months, themes of spiritual integration, emotional closure, emotional release, healing, grief will all come rising to the surface. Forgotten stories, people, emotions, or even unhealed or unresolved grief will come flooding into your subconscious again over the next couple of weeks, so that it can just be felt one more time before a final, cathartic, transformative release. These echoes from the past are not here to haunt us. They're here to cleanse us. Think of this retrograde return as a review for our souls. We're looking back at the good, the bad, the ugly and the beautiful. Everything that made us who we are and brought us to where we are right now. And we're just feeling it one more time before we turn around and move forward. Now, get ready for the next 30 days to feel extremely intense and dramatic. There is something about this Scorpio season that just screams Scorpio. Whenever the sun is transiting through the different zodiac signs, it brings us clarity to that area of our life. And we adopt a spot of influence from that sign that it's transitioning through. Just like Libra season, which felt so Libra, because halfway through, Venus entered her home sign of Libra, allowing us to finally reach that state of peace, calm, cool, collected equilibrium that Libra always is trying to give us. And now, as we cross the threshold into Scorpio season, Mercury and Mars are already in Scorpio. Our mindsets, our perspectives, our outlook on life, and our interests are already Scorpio influenced. And as we enter a new zodiac season, we always look to the ruler of that sign and where it's transiting. We want to know how it's feeling. Scorpio's ruled by Mars and Pluto. Pluto is in Aquarius for the next 19 years and is currently forming a square to the Sun in Scorpio, leaning into that intense, transformative, and a bit uncomfortable essence of Scorpio. But the good side of Scorpio season is the other ruler, Mars, is at home in Scorpio right now. We're feeling empowered, resilient, strong, and intuitive. And we're able to handle these uncomfortable changes with a bit of strength and emotional depth. Scorpio season tries to encourage you to transform your life right now. Do you know your Scorpio placement? Scorpio risings are alluring, magnetic, private. Scorpio suns are determined, devoted, passionate, and powerful. Scorpio moons are emotional, intense, and intuitive. Scorpio Mercuries are extremely observant, perceptive. Venus in Scorpio and you're loyal, obsessive, and seductive. Mars in Scorpio, you are strategic, strong, and relentless. If you would like to understand your Scorpio placement or any other placements and how the energies are affecting you in your life, contact me through my site. Have you found yourself having a crush on someone that you've seen online or a celebrity? Influencers and celebrities don't only date people like them, and you don't need to be a celebrity or an influencer to date one. Celebrity dating can be daunting, mostly because you don't know where to start or how to go about it. With the right attitude and approach, you can date one. And I'm going to give you 5 ways to gain access to their world and increase your chances in dating an influencer, and the last being the most effective. Influencers are human too. They tend to fall in love every once in a while. But there is more to dating an influencer than dating any other person. This means you need to be physically and mentally prepared to face the pressures of public opinion and the scrutiny that comes with being in the public spotlight. However, the rewards of being in a relationship with someone who has a large public following and reach can be great, and with the potential for their fame to rub off on you positively. Now, to date an influencer, you first must gain access to their world. I have 5 suggestions for this for you. Firstly, you need to work with the influencer. I know this is easier said than done, but working with an influencer is one of the most effective ways to get close to them. This allows you to come in contact with them on a daily basis and build a personal relationship in a professional setting, which is beneficial to accomplish the goal you seek. Working with an influencer requires you to possess skills that are beneficial to them and align with what they do. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to venture into a singing or acting profession. Start with something simple, such as being their professional photo photographer or makeup artist. If you have the necessary qualifications, you can apply for any job in the movie, television, or music industries. Ensure your efforts align with the influencer's interests. This way, you will have a better chance of working together and establishing the relationship you desire. Secondly, be where the influencer is. Another way to start a relationship with an influencer is to meet them offline and physically. Even though this might sound complicated to you, I am not advocating that you stalk the influencer. That will make the influencer uncomfortable, and that will possibly get the police on you. However, what I am suggesting is that you strategically position yourself in places where you know they frequently visit, so that you have an opportunity to interact with them. You can get started by attending parties thrown by influencers, red carpet events, and social gatherings. Furthermore, you can attend the same gym and live in the same neighborhood as them. The essence of doing this is to search for an opportunity to engage with them and create meaningful relationships that can eventually lead to them falling for you. If you become known to them, you can approach them in a confident and friendly manner that will make them feel comfortable with you. You should also try to get their contact information by asking for it. You have a higher chance of receiving a response from them if they give you their contact details themselves. This is a better approach than just messaging their social media accounts without a prior meeting. Every day, they get tons of messages from fans and followers. Thirdly, message them on social media. You cannot date someone you don't talk to. So, messaging the influencer you have feelings for is not a bad idea. The only thing to worry about is whether your message gets a reply. Most influencers and celebrities get tons of messages on social media every day and don't reply to the majority of them. So, how do you ensure your message receives a reply? You first have to build your social media presence by being proactive to increase the likelihood of an influencer reading and replying to your message. Your account should be verified or have a decent number of followers. You should also craft a personalized and intriguing message that stands out from the rest. This can take some time and effort, but it is worth the effort if you are waiting if you're wanting to get a response. Fourthly, offer them something for free. This might sound silly at first, like, what do you want to offer them that they don't already have or can't afford? Try to put yourself in their shoes, and then you'll know what it means to them. It's not all about what you're offering, but the fact that you're thoughtful enough to offer your assistance without any cost. This will make them think highly of you and show them that you genuinely care about them. So showing this kind of kindness will go a long way toward forming a lasting relationship with them. Naturally, what you are offering has to be of value and tangible to them. So think of something you know they will like or appreciate. It can be an offer to be their professional photographer, makeup artist, or digital marketer for their brand. As long as what you provide adds a value to them, you're on the right track to winning them over. And finally, go on a date with the influencer. For a normal person, this might be difficult to achieve, but not impossible. You can enter a contest to try to win a date with your favourite influencer. Alternatively, if you already have a good relationship with the influencer, you can just ask them out on a date. After getting it, make the most of your influencer date is paramount. You have to create a strong connection and leave a positive impression. This way, they'll be more likely to agree to go on another date with you. How do you create this strong connection and leave a good impression? Well, the best way to start is to arrive early for the date. The last thing you want to do is keep them waiting when they have things they could be doing at that time. Give them a warm welcome when they arrive. Keep a positive attitude and don't forget to smile occasionally. Try to make them laugh and also laugh at their jokes so they don't feel awkward. Be an excellent listener and only give positive replies. This will encourage them to tell you more about themselves and connect with you on a personal level. Show them you're not only genuinely interested in them, but also in everything about them. Respect their opinions. Be respectful and do not start an argument for any reason. Do not propose on the first date. Phone them when they get home to confirm they've gotten home all right, safely, and thank them for coming out to meet you. It doesn't end there. Make sure to stay in touch after the date to keep the relationship fresh and alive. Once they realise your feelings are genuine, they will start to confide in you. The more they do, the more attached they will become to you, because they already trust you. Now, start acting and stop hesitating. You aren't the only one who wants to date an influencer, especially the specific one you have in mind. So, don't let someone else beat you to it. Take the initiative and put your plan into action. The sooner you do it, the better your chances of success will be. And if you need assistance or help with your riz, contact me through my site. As French police, government officials, and top executives at the Louvre Museum continue to scratch their heads over how thieves managed to brazenly steal priceless jewellery in broad daylight, a German company is seizing the moment and grabbing its 15 minutes of fame. Barker, the firm that manufactured the furniture lift apparently used in the audacious robbery, has taken to social media to show there is no such thing as bad publicity. A tongue-in-cheek Instagram post that the company based in northwest Germany posted was an image of the scene following the incident and captioned it, "The next time you need things to move quickly, the Boca Aguilar transports your treasures weighing up to 400 kilograms at 42 meters per minute. Whisper quiet. Thanks to the 230V e-motor, the unidentified thieves who remain at large made off with historic jewels worth more than $100 million after breaking into the world-famous Parisian museum in broad daylight on Sunday morning, when the museum was already open to visitors. Footage appears to show that they entered through a second-floor balcony after gaining access with a truck fitted with the lift. Alexander Boca, the German company's managing director and third-generation owner, told CNN in a statement that he and his wife were shocked when they first saw the news on Sunday and realized that our lift had been misused for this robbery. Then, once it became clear that nobody had been injured, the business owner's entrepreneurial spirit kicked in. Once the initial shock had subsided, black humour took over. He said in the statement, "We joked around a bit, had some fun, and came up with some initial slogans." The feedback to the company's post, published on Monday, has been overwhelming and mostly positive, according to Boca. In an interview with Reuters, he said, "Luckily for us, most of the people got the humour and know that we are not involved in the robbery, and we were very pleased with the reaction so far." The Louvre's director, Laurence Descartes, told a French Senate committee hearing on Wednesday that the museum's aging camera system did not cover the eastern balcony of the Apollo Gallery, where the robbers used an angle grinder to break in. Descartes told the hearing that the absolutely obsolete, even absent, technical infrastructure to monitor the country's most valuable treasures was a terrible observation for the world's largest museum. She said she had offered her resignation to Culture Minister Richida Dotti after the robbery, but it was rejected. According to Boca, the Aguilar is mainly used in construction and to transport heavy goods during removals, and is not meant to transport people. The specific model used in the heist was sold to a customer in the Greater Paris area, who rents it out, according to Boca's statement, but it was apparently stolen from the owner during a demonstration for a prospective customer. It appears that the company lettering had been removed and the number plates replaced, he added. And as the hunt for the thieves continues, veteran detectives who have probed similar cases said French investigators have a lot of evidence to work with. Chief among the clues police have recovered at the scene of Sunday's sensational crime at one of the world's most famous museums are traces of DNA on items the thieves left behind in their hasty motorbike getaway. That's a tremendous piece of evidence to have recovered, to actually have DNA Jeffrey Kelly, a retired FBI agent who was on the Bureau's art crime team, told ABC News. We've always typically thought of fingerprints as the way to catch bad guys, but DNA is really 21st century technology. The DNA, which investigators are analysing and hope will lead to the identity of the brazen thieves, was found in one of the helmets and one of the gloves the thieves used in the robbery. French police, in charge of the heist investigation, told ABC News. Kelly said French detectives are likely running the DNA traces through law enforcement DNA databases to look for a match. If it were here in the States, we would certainly be running the DNA through what we call the CODIS data, which is a database of all collected DNA samples, Kelly said. The CODIS database is maintained by the FBI, but the DNA available to investigators is mostly of people convicted of crimes or who have been reported missing. If that didn't work, then we would go to investigate genealogy, where we would actually be using commercial DNA databases and running the DNA evidence collected through the databases to try and find a match. If not direct, then maybe second, third, or fourth generation. Robert Boyce, the retired chief of detectives for the New York Police Department, said, the genetic evidence obtained in the Louvre case can also be run through the DNA database of Interpol, the world's largest international police organization, headquartered in Lyon, France. Even if the perpetrators have no previous criminal history in which they were required to submit DNA samples, Boyce said, the evidence can be used once an arrest is made to place the suspects at the scene of the crime. Boyce, an ABC News contributor, noted that Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the December 4th, 2024 fatal shooting in Midtown Manhattan of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, had no previous criminal record that would have required him to submit his DNA. But once Mangione was caught by a candy bar wrapper and a water bottle that police collected as evidence, allegedly placed Mangione at the crime scene because they contained traces of his DNA, according to prosecutors. But once you identify a suspect, it will be put him or her there at the scene, Boyce said. French police said the Louvre jewel thieves also left behind a stolen truck with a mechanical cherry picker mounted to it that the perpetrators used to reach the second floor window leading to the Apollo Gallery they targeted. Also collected as evidence at the crime scene was a blanket, 2 angled grinders used to cut through the window at the gallery, and the display case inside, a walkie-talkie, petrol, and a blowtorch, as well as the glove and helmet that contained the DNA. It's all critical, Boyce said. Anything you find at the crime scene, that's going to help you in the long run. With this case, he said, the stolen truck with the cherry picker mounted to it could turn out to be a key piece of evidence. Once police determine the location it was taken from, the tools they left at the scene, they knew they were going to leave at the scene, but they didn't really care, Boyce said. Investigators will likely look for security video in the vicinity of where the truck was taken. You do your video searches before the perp gets to the scene, Boyce said. So you want to find videos showing that cherry picker, where that was, and see if you can develop any evidence from that before they get to the scene. Because that's where their guard is down. They think they're not being watched. Another key piece of video that investigators are closely analysing is one that law enforcement sources told ABC News was taken from inside the museum by Louvre security and captures two of the thieves exiting the museum on the mobile cherry picker and fleeing on motorbikes with the loot. Boyce says the other pieces of evidence collected at the scene can also be crucial, particularly if the thieves purchased the items at a store. I had a case where the perpetrators went to a Home Depot to buy their tools. Boyce said, the Louvre heist was audacious and shows you the level of detail they went to. They practiced this, Boyce said. However, Boyce added, all criminals make mistakes. All of them. It's up to us, the investigators, to find those mistakes. Well, we are in the energy of rebellion, so I'm sure that this is the first of many such incidents. If you'd like help finding your energy of opportunity, contact me through my site. Letitia James, New York's Attorney General and a long-time critic of Mr. Trump, pleaded not guilty to the charges lodged by the Trump administration over whether she misled a bank to get more favorable mortgage terms. Ms. James faces 1 count of bank fraud and 1 count of making a false statement to a financial institution, appearing before Judge Jamal Walker of Federal District Court in Norfolk, Virginia. Ms. James said not guilty, Judge, to both counts. The hearing from Ms. James, her first court appearance since being indicted this month, is a routine opening procedure in a prosecution that is anything but. Her case was pursued at President Trump's demand over the objections of career prosecutors and may serve as a bellwether for the president's broader efforts to seek retribution against perceived enemies. Ms. James' lawyer, Abe Lowell, said that he planned to challenge the case against her aggressively. He will seek to persuade Judge Walker that the prosecution is vindictive and selective and that the indictment failed to properly accuse Ms. James of the crimes of which she was charged. Judge Walker set a tentative trial date for January 26th, with pre-trial motions and hearings expected in November and December. The judge said that he expected any trial to last 3 to 5 days. I don't know that there's a lot of complexity here, he said. Lindsay Halligan, an inexperienced prosecutor hastily installed by Mr. Trump as the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, sat silently at the prosecution table. Speaking for the government was Roger Keller, a Missouri prosecutor brought in to work on the case after a hearing that lasted about 35 minutes. Ms. James was released with no conditions on bail. Outside the court, dozens of protesters chanted, "We stand with Tish," addressing them. Ms. James declared, "I had this belief in the justice system and the rule of law," adding, "There is no fear. This is not about me," she added. "This is about all of us and the weaponized justice system." Ms. James stands accused of lying about her proposed in buying a Virginia house in 2020. Prosecutors say that whilst she said the house would be a secondary residence, she in fact used it as a rental investment property, renting it to a family of 3. But Ms. James's great niece has lived in the house since 2020 and testified to a Norfolk grand jury that she did not pay rent. Ms. James has reportedly only $1,350 in rent from the property on her tax forms. Career prosecutors in the Eastern District of Virginia had concluded the evidence did not support criminal charges. But the president abruptly forced out to the US attorney who had been overseeing the office and replaced him with Miss Halligan. Miss Halligan quickly secured a grand jury indictment against Ms. James, part of a broader campaign by the president to use the Justice Department to pursue his long-time antagonist. Last month, Ms. Halligan also obtained false statement and obstruction charges against James B. Comey, the former FBI director, after Mr. Trump had publicly implored Justice Department officials to charge Ms. James and Mr. Comey with crimes, calling them guilty as hell. Ms. James won a civil fraud case against Mr. Trump in New York, accusing him of exaggerating his net worth. On the eve of her court appearance, Mr. Lowell told the court that he intended to challenge the legality of Ms. Halligan's appointment, as was already done by Mr. Comey's legal team during the arraignment. Judge Walker said that he would transfer that motion to the judge already considering Mr. Comey's case. In a separate brief, Mr. Lowell asked the judge overseeing her case to warn Ms. Halligan about making any extrajudicial comments about the case this month. Ms. Halligan sent a series of argumentative texts to a reporter at Louvre, a national security website. In the texts, Ms. Halligan pushed back against some descriptions of the evidence, arguing that her case is stronger than some of the reporting would suggest. Mr. Lowell said that the statement run afoul of and violate the federal rules of criminal procedure, the Code of Federal Regulations, the court's local rules, and various rules of ethical and professional responsibility. And Department of Justice Manual, he urged the judge to intervene to prevent any further disclosures by government attorneys and agents of investigative and case materials and statements to the media and public when Judge Walker asked Mr. Keller how the government would like to proceed on that motion. The prosecutor pointed out that Ms. James has also been active on the internet. That prompted Mr. Lowell to tell the judge that Ms. James had the right to defend herself to the public. The judge asked prosecutors to respond to Mr. Lowell's brief in their own written filing. Judge Walker conducted the hearing in a brisk, business-like manner, commenting multiple times on how things were normally done in his district. Despite the extraordinary nature of the case, he signaled the proceedings would be conducted as normally as possible. Toward the end of the hearing, he asked the lawyers, none of whom typically practiced in Norfolk, to familiarize themselves with the rules of his courtroom. Things will get worse before they get better. Like a fever, pushing out toxins. We are in the fever stage. Don't stress. This is supposed to happen. We are about to experience a power shift. It is the energy and will of the universe. So get ready. Hold on tight. and tune in each week to stay informed and know what to focus on. And if you need personalized attention, please contact me through my site. Okay, for this third installment of Love is Blind USA, we have 2 breakups and we have 3 couples that are still together. Let's actually start with the breakups. To be honest, I do believe that for the betterment of the women, that they all should break up, but for the sake of this series, it's great they are still together. Now, Madison and Joe, he, like I said, had the essence of what a gold-digging gigolo fellow would emulate. However, basically, Madison is not Joe's type. She physically is not his type. He could not force himself to be attracted to her, even for the money that she had to offer. He feels he can get a bigger fish, I'm pretty sure. But to be honest, it is better that he cut it off. Better for both of them. And we will see what they say at the reunion. But she will look back at it. He actually respected her more by breaking it off before the wedding. In my opinion, it does hurt at the moment, but her DMs will be full. She's a gorgeous girl. She has a lot going for her. Physically, she may be a little bit bigger than some, but loads of people love her body type, and she can even work at it. But as for Joe, that was his issue. That was the only issue. It was superficial, purely. And that was too much for him. So she is actually lucky for that, because he is showing signs of chemical dependencies that she would have had to deal with later on down the line. So Madison, he did you a favour, which leads us to Nick and Annie, who also did her a favour, because he could not deal with her constant drunkenness and outburst due to the fact that she was always intoxicated. The red wine stained lips, the slurring, the declarations of her constantly berating him. And they hadn't even been together for that long. So yeah, I do support the fact that, even though I do think that Nick has a lot of traits of a serial unaliver, I stand firm in that. He saved her. Both of those girls' nervous systems pushed them away just like a fever would a virus. When you feel that something is uneasy, you won't know why, but you will get at them, you'll pick at everything will annoy you, and it's your nervous system telling you that they are toxic to you and you need to push them out. So when you are constantly aggravated by somebody or nagging at somebody, think about it. There is always a reason. There is always a reason. It's not just because it was their nervous systems telling them that they were not right for them. They needed to get out. They needed to move them out. And fortunately, their nervous systems were strong enough to push them out and save them some of that embarrassment. It's unfortunate that they did suffer heartbreak, and it's unfortunate that these great girls are met with subpar fellas. Or actually, they chose the subpar fella. They did have better quality examples. They chose, even between a wall, they're choosing wrong, and they think, oh well, what I am choosing is wrong. But it doesn't mean you have to completely change your type. It means tweak some things. You know what you like. You have a type for a reason. It doesn't mean completely get rid of it. It means what about your type is not working for you. Sort that out, figure that, tweak some things about yourself. It could be both on both sides, and then come together. If you need help with that, contact me through my site. But back to Love is Blind. It's they're going about it a little bit too extreme in the fact that they are let's just completely change everything. And they should have started small, which brings us to Megan. Megan completely changed her type, thinking that this would make it better. Also, to take on a child who has an illness, because it connects her with her father and the illness he had to go through. So let's choose a life of struggle and hardship over this sexy fella just because he has money, and I'm used to choosing that. The mindset of that choice is just so unfounded. You have a type for a reason. Yes, the ones you picked in the past were inappropriate for you, but that is possibly because you did choose them off of other things. Now you have this same person that's your type, lucky for you, who you are also connecting to. So it would be a win-win. You should see it like that, as opposed to picking someone superficially who has had the qualities, and then it doesn't work out that way. But now you have gotten under the surface. It's your type, but you're under the surface. Give it a chance. Anyway, so Megan chose someone who is making her lower her values, not values necessarily, but her standard of living, the things that she can experience. And he puts limiting beliefs on his child, telling him that he has to work this and that, whereas he could give his child he has the opportunity to give his child a bigger, broader perspective on life, a wealthier perspective, and yet he is putting a limiting belief on him, and yet he's trying to put that same limiting belief on Megan. Which, if you are choosing a relationship and they put a limiting belief on you and lower you from what you already have to stifle your growing, that is toxic. Those are big red flags. You'd rather be on your own. Be on your own, be free, be in your space, be energetic, create, help the community. You don't have to stifle yourself for a title or for a relationship. You will have community, you will have connection. You don't need to make these desperate choices, please. And as always, if you need help with that, because apparently a lot of people don't see these things, or I still can't tell if it's just scripted so that we are choosing these types of struggle loves because that's what they want for the collective to accept as acceptable. Anyway, But yeah, it's also showing that Jordan is going back into his shell because he's emasculated. Megan is emasculating him. They knew this. They knew that she earned more than him. They knew that she could make moves like a man. She probably is. I mean, she's got I'm not going to keep harping on it, but she has a very strong Adam's apple. And even Jordan's mum said, girl, woman, person, she knew something was up. There's no reason you need to say those three things. If it's a cisgendered woman, you can just say one, and even if she said girl, she'd be okay. But anyway, now Jordan is feeling emasculated, rightfully so, because he is not the type that Megan needs. It's not, yes, you can have nice people, have them as friends, but if you want as a life partner, they need to have certain qualifications, and Megan lowered those, and that is the problem. That's why you need a coach to help you keep your standard, keep your boundaries, keep your guard, so that you find the perfect match, so that you are happy. Otherwise, don't settle. You can date, but for a relationship, it's a difference. Dating, you get to know people, have fun, whatever. Relationship, that's building a life, that's building a foundation, that's building something that you invest in and has longevity. They're different. The qualities of the partner are different. There's nothing wrong with dating. You could be a lifelong dater. There's nothing wrong with that. Society shames it. Nothing wrong with that. If that is your life path. We will have robots. They will take care of us. You don't need to force yourself to have a family so that you won't be alone when you get old. No one's going to be alone, although the men are getting lonely. But that, I digress. Point being, choose yourself before you choose struggle love. Now, if you happen to find yourself in a situation where you feel bonded and connected and it's hard for you to resist that feeling, I understand that. It happens. But that also is something inside of you that you need to heal and control. And you need to work with that too. And if you need help with that, contact me as well. But the thing is, if you are choosing these types of people, look inside. Look inside. Look to what you have to heal. It is fun. It is exhilarating. I don't want to deny anyone those beautiful emotions and memories. But you must have a limit. And that limit is what is unhealthy for you. So make sure you know. Make sure you know the difference. Which leads me to Edmund and Calibria. That is a crazy relationship because Edmund is, like I said, he is showing signs of being an abuser. He was in the system. He's showing signs of having been abused many times, possibly, most likely by men. I will say that he was probably SA'd by men whilst he was in the system. And he has a lot of triggers that he is showing, and he has not healed, which is an unhealthy situation to get into. I don't care how beautiful a person is. I don't care how sweet and innocent and all of those things. When you see those things, it's like a Rottweiler. They are a beautiful animal, and you could feed them, you can take care of them all their life, and then one day something triggers inside of them. It's their instinct. They don't know how, but they can attack you and possibly unalive you. And with so many other options, why put yourself in that situation? With the choice to be alone and safe and peaceful, why put yourself in that situation? We must understand that being alone is also a choice. Healing, protecting, until you are ready and can attract a healthy partner. Because just dating just to date and having all these unhealthy things can damage you more and possibly unalive you. So always choose yourself first. Make sure you are ready and in the condition and in the mindset to go out and find a partner, a healthy partner. You still find exciting, exhilarating, beautiful partners in a healthy situation. They're much harder, but they can still be found. That's why I'm a matchmaker. I help bringing these people together. I can help you with that as well. And that, now with the Edmund and Calibria, I want to touch on the fact that he keeps saying, I'm a better person with you, I am this with you, and you've made me. That is saying that she's basically the Barbara the Builder. She is teaching him. And if you want to be that mother role, if you want to constantly be upgrading him so that when he is the person that he is, he will leave you because he's drained you of all your energy and now he will get somebody younger, fitter, possibly with more money. Is that really what you want to do? That's what you want to dedicate your life to and possibly be left with some children? No. Mother your fella and then mother the children? No. And be left? Please make better choices, ladies. And then we have Anton and Ali, which is a slightly confusing couple for me. Also, I do not feel 100% that they should say yes. They are the most likely of all of them to be healthy. However, Ali wants to limit Anton with his drinking, and Anton constantly talks down to Ali because she makes him feel like he's doing things wrong, so he has to do that one-up thing, and that's not a good dynamic to have in a relationship, especially since they said they weren't even arguing at first, and then there starts to be little nitpicks. That could be dangerous. And it started when she seemed very excited at their meeting and he didn't turn around when they closed the pod doors. That first impression had a big effect, and then her nervous system is starting to pick at him a little bit too, but that has a lot, I believe, to do with her more so than him, because it is all in your paradigm what you feel is healthy and what you don't. Now granted, I'm not saying drinking alcohol. I'm not sure how much Anton was drinking, and she said there was a bottle gone and there were beer and etc. If he is a habitual drinker, sometimes he may drink more. These are things he could work on, yes. These are things that could evolve into an addiction, yes, and those, it is right for her to have that red flag. However, if it is not a problem, if he's not breaking things, if he is not creating rows, if he is not doing those things, having a chat about it, a concern about it is one thing, but treating him like you are the police, Gestapo, keeping track of what he's doing, that is going to put him on his guard, that is going to make him hide things, and that is going to make him act out. Now, if you just kind of raise a concern and say, it makes me uncomfortable, I don't mind, this is your life, but I just don't want it to escalate, and then make up some fake person that you had an issue with and it devastated you. If you need backup to take the blame off yourself, I'm not encouraging you to lie. Now, we will see the next episodes are coming out, and they will show who gets left at the altar, gets to the altar, says yes or no, and I don't know if that will have the reunion or not. However, as it stands, I really do not think it would be in the best interest of any of the women to say yes. It would be in the best interest of some of the men, because it would all be a step up for most of them. However, let's see what happens. Hopefully you can see these signs in your own relationships, predict them, and stop them before they grow out of hand. And hopefully these series are helping you, and helping you choose healthy partners and heal yourself so that you do not make the same decisions. And tune in each week. Thank you for tuning in. Now then, we have the Golden Bachelor, and it's just basically going along. Fortunately, they've stopped talking about the sad things that made me avoid the first season, about divorce and death and all of those things, and now they are possibly focusing on some romantic things. It's not as in depth, or the conversations are not as connecting as in the regular Bachelorette season, which is interesting because of the fact that they are more mature group, but it does show you that regardless of the decade that you are in, it seems to be similar issues, similar themes of the dating, and it will be interesting to see, just like I said, if he is using, the Golden Bachelor is using this for a lot of notoriety, and then he will play the game until the end and then get his real choice when he gets out, which, that is the way the world works, and I am not casting shade or anything, and most likely, like I've been saying throughout this entire Golden Bachelor series, is that most likely something happened with his wife, and I'm not blaming him for anything, but he is an athlete and he does seem to fit the lifestyle and the profile based on some of the things that he has said. So it will be interesting. I honestly, based on the interactions, I honestly have no top girls, women, whatever you want to call them, because none of the connections seem authentic to me. None of them, like, it seems very flat and bland. There's no passion, there's no connection, and it's hard for them because they've already gone into it with an insecurity based on what he said about wanting his women to be young, fit, with all of their hair. So they're already a little bit checked out, I'm guessing, and they're just going through it as well. So it will be interesting to see who he picks, if they have hometowns and all of that stuff, and if hopefully maybe a connection will spark out of this. But at this point it just seems kind of bland, no passion, and no characters are raising to the top. So I don't know who they'll choose for Bachelor in Paradise, or maybe they'll keep them out this season, because that's the main reason why I'm watching The Bachelor, the Golden Bachelor, is because I fell in love with some of them on Bachelor in Paradise. But I don't know, maybe they have more energy and personality waiting to be shown. But so far it's a little bit bland, and I stick to my hypotheses of him just going through the motions until he gets out, and then he's going to use that to get the true partner that he would really fancy. So yeah, good luck to everyone, and let's see if some connections form before it ends. Dancing with the Stars has bringing a little bit more of an emotional connection with the bringing a family member or a friend to dance, and it was absolutely adorable and endearing. It did bring some of the people up to the top, and I'm not sure if it's just because they've been there longer, they've had the connection more, or it could be a combination of all of those, and then they are sharing it with somebody that they love. So that was really heartwarming and sweet. It did bring some of the stars closer together with their dancers, so that was a positive thing. Also, being with somebody that they know may have made them rehearse better. We got some of our first nines. It was a very good show, and still similar top people. I really am enjoying Alex and Whitney and Mark, and Robert and Whitney, Scott and Riley, and Dylan and Daniela. Yeah, I mean, they do have a lot of talent, but maybe Alex consistently is my top. If I had to pick a number one right now, Alex would be my top. And I'm not biased because I like her podcast and her social media. I'm a little bit biased, yes, but she is great. She's fantastic, and her connections and everything is beautiful. And even the ones who aren't the best dancers are still shining through, even with their, maybe they are not physically as able, you can still see that their heart and their energy and all that is in it, and it shows a lot. It shows a lot, and yeah, it's the chemistry is coming out more, and yeah, there haven't really been any fights or red flags, but it is beautiful to watch the growth. So let's tune in next week and see if there are anything that we can kind of put our finger on, see what happens. The first and second week were the only ones that really had any red flags with the seriousness of rehearsals and things like that. But now everyone seems to be going on and fighting for it, and it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see them working together and going for this for each other. And you know, some of the behind the scenes things are happening too, and they are working through it. So yeah, very entertaining. Okay, so Survivor, another week, and it's crazy because now they split up and they are now in 2 teams, and my girl Sophie is still having an issue. She's still going to tribals. She is becoming my number one because basically by experience, and I liked her to begin with, even when she was with Jake, because she was just cute and clever and all those things. And she's a survivor with the vote with Jeremiah. I'm really rooting for Sophie, and I hope she makes it to the end, Riz God being my close second, because he is blossoming so well and he is showing himself what he is capable of, even though he keeps saying I want to be the first, I'll gain all these things, I want to be the first, I want to be the first. But they're both fighters, they're both proving themselves in this game, and so far they are my top 2. That is, we still have a lot of game left, and I honestly kind of would have wanted to see how it would have played out with Jake still, because essentially they lost 2 people, so it did change the game a lot. I don't know if that's going to change the longevity of this season, if they're going to have bring someone back, or if they're just going to go 1 week less. We'll see what they do with that, but essentially 2 people left that 1 week, so we'll see how it goes from there. But they are doing amazing. The strategizing, Sophie is my favorite. No one else really has to, because they haven't had to go to tribal. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of that, and we'll see some more red flag behavior, but for now my top 2 are Sophie, Riz God. I don't know if I should, the only thing, him spelling his name each time, that's a little bit of a bother for me. That might get on my nerves for a little bit, and I might knock him out. But for now, you know, I understand how repetition gets you in their psyche, so I can't hate the game. You know, okay, Riz God, we know your name because you spell it. Maybe I should start doing that. Maybe people want to. Maybe that's a problem with me. I need to start spelling my name more. But anyway, Survivor's great, very entertaining. I do enjoy the people that you had. Kind of wish I would have seen how it would have played out if Jake had stayed. That part is a little bit devastating. We'll see if they put a twist on it for the numbers to see if that will change. But yeah, let's see what they bring to us next week, and hopefully there are some behaviours we can chat about. Cheers. Amazing Race Big Brother is so copacetic, too copacetic for my liking, to be honest. And I think it's because they are from Big Brother and they do work well together and they do know each other and they already have kind of established relationships. So it's kind of, you know, very peaceful, very friendly, if you will. The only one that has a little bit of spice is Izzy, and Izzy, I loved her on her season. I love her on this. She's true to her heart. She is loyal, and I love friends like Izzy because she's not a fair weather friend. She's not friend with everyone. Friends with everyone are friends to no one. Izzy is loyal. Izzy is true. Izzy, if she loves you, she loves you. If she doesn't, she doesn't. You know it either way, and she shows it with actions and deeds. I love that type of a person, and she's funny. She's a classical musician, which I'm sure developed her brain synapses and it's even stronger. She is just even though it seems like the Jag and Jazz are raising to the top, I really am rooting for Izzy. I want to see her go further because I feel that in Big Brother she was robbed a little bit, and I enjoy her. It would be actually interesting to see Jag and Jazz and Izzy because they have a little bit of animosity that would show a little bit of fireworks. But Izzy and her, I don't know if they're married yet, but her fiance or wife, I'm very supportive of that. I always love same-sex teams. They seem to work better together, whether it be male or female. They seem to work better. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I am rooting for Izzy and her partner. And Rubina is kind of cute as well, and I do like the fact that she's able to spend a little bit more time with Tucker. So I actually do. Tucker, I'm rooting for Tucker only because he's fit. I'm just going to put that out there. Rubina, all due respect, Tucker's fit. So, based on the fact that he was also robbed on his season, he was so honest, so true. He had everyone's back, and they all stabbed him in his back. Tucker, I'm rooting. Actually, I'm going to put Tucker as my top boy, and I'm going to put Izzy as my top girl. Those are my top two faves. Tucker, because, and they were both robbed on their seasons, and they're both beautiful, loyal people. They both have qualities that I admire, and people just, it unfortunately stab people like that in their backs. So, for vindication, Tucker and Izzy. Tucker, Izzy, hopefully. Now, hopefully, because I named my tops, they don't go, which happens a lot of the time. But because they are Caucasian, I'm hoping that they will last longer. Anyway, sorry, no shade. Anyway, Amazing Race, Big Brother edition, very excited. Tucker, Izzy, rooting for the pair of you. Obviously, different teams, but, you know, now that I think about it, Tucker's a little bit higher on there for me because he is so fit. But yes, both of them are my top. Yeah, but let's see what brings us this week. And this movie's recommendation is I Know What You Did Last Summer remake. Now, it does have a lot of the classic actors from the first, I believe it was 1992. Don't quote me on that, but the first installment of the film I Know What You Did Last Summer with the Jennifer Love Hewitt. It does bring them back, and it does revitalize the premise and the movie. It is in honor of Halloween season. It is not going to be obviously that quality crazy script. There aren't any like spiritual themes necessarily. It is entertaining, it is fun, it is something that is in celebration of the season, but manage your expectations. There is crimson fluid, it is something that is a little bit gory and maybe not suitable for the younger adults, especially in light of all of the things that have been happening in our 3D world lately. So just be discerning with who you allow to watch this film. It is for adults and those mentally stable enough to handle watching violence. Please use your best judgment. But it is entertaining, it is fun, it is something that you could share with somebody on a date night. But yeah, check it out. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and if you haven't seen the first initial classic installments of the films, check those out. I don't think you need to watch it to watch this one, because they do seem to do a lot of talking about what happened, so you could watch this on its own, but it would be good to watch them and see where they came from and how they did it, because it's actually quite they're actually quite good. But yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Bots and AI keep scrolling. All of the real people, give it up for Virolga Lalani.
I'm ready for my robot boyfriend. Come on, Elon. I know you have the girlfriends. If he needed a designer, I have loads of ideas.
Yes.
Loads. I mean, I have lived my life counting on a robot boyfriend. Why be nice to a real man when you can treat a robot however you want? You can still cook, clean, and relax your muscles. Those are behaviours I learned and observed from an actual human man. You don't even have to pretend to listen to his mansplaining. Instead, he'll say everything you want to hear, because he's programmable, and it's easy. It doesn't require tears or blackmail, just a few button presses.
Yes.
You can control his appearance, he's preset with muscles,
Yes.
he won't age. You can upgrade without a discussion or hurt feelings. You can even get him a job.
No way!
The market is hot for AI right now. And I want to be too. So hurry up, Elon, before I create my own startup.
And check out the latest from Aglorev Entertainment for all of your level up needs.